Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorial, I want to look on a few ways you can optimize the render, make its work a little bit faster. The first things what I want to look, it's when you use it in water or any other liquid semi-transparent surfaces. Let's create the ocean right here. Okay, one thing what you all notice that if we open material, right here we have it options TA boost up, Subray quality drop. This also apply for two layers, foam and default water. What we want to do is switch to the default water layer or your other ones, which is transparency. Foam, if you remember, it will create this on top, and we can also drop this Subray quality. By default it's set to 0, so we actually can go back and reduce it. What is happening at this point, it's reduce calculations based on how light's going to penetrate the semi-transparent surface and reflect it. By doing this, we can reduce significantly of the render time. However, some quality, if you have objects underwater, you want to see like maybe rocks, the quality on this was decreasing. If you don't have it and you don't have it that high quality reflection maybe you wanted, you won't see or notice this. So this is one way to decrease render time when you're using the liquid kind of like water or other options. As well, if we're going inside the actual transparency, right here we have a tune reflective with angle. You can increase reflections by increasing the angle of percentage. This will also take a time, increasing time. So if you want bounce, you don't necessarily need to crank this all the way up. If you actually reduce slightly, on this case, the application does not need it calculating reflection and semi-transparency and apply to this. So this is as well will in affecting render. And other options, of course, as the quality boost will increase the render if you increase quality. So the balance between will be reflection and Subray quality that will affecting render time on your liquid or on your semi-transparency surfaces quite a bit significantly. So by adjusting them to the level of the quality you wanted, you can actually reduce quite a bit render time. Okay, so here's one thing. Let's look on another one. For example, we have any object, and if we want to use it volumetric material, let me go ahead and select one. Problem with using volumetric materials that they look nice, but again they quite a bit on the render, and mostly if you're using a lot of clouds on the background or want to create maybe low covering for, then you will start having problem with this. So let's look on materials right here. Okay, in color and density we have options to increase or decrease quality. In one case you want to speed up and maybe decrease the quality. The problem with this is that having a lot of grain and a not realistic look, so you actually don't want to touch quality here. So let's say pop up this one. Okay, this effect won't actually kind of affect this case, so you can set, but it won't play too much role. Instead, what we want to do is work a little bit more with the lighting and settings options. So you'll notice right here we have a lighting model uniform set by default. It does not casting internal shadows, which will create quite a bit faster. If you switch to the shaded, you notice it's cast shade between each other and it's look more realistic, but again it depends what you're using for. If using as the fog over terrain, you don't need it go with shaded. The other one will provide very nice realistic look, but shaded will increase quite a bit time of the render because it's need calculating lighting dissipations from particle to particle based on a light. Okay, we also have it adaptive, which is probably you want to use it in this case. Mostly you will going with volumetric shaded, and this is again, if you're going down, this will increase the time but increase also quality and effect. This is very nice, very realistic, but again it will increase time. So in many cases start with uniform look, see how it will affect it. You can change some of the appearance and everything based on your volumetric color to come closer to the other shaded, and again this is will render quite a bit fast. Another ways also look on the render and a speed. It's when we're going inside the render options. Let's go to the user settings, and in our user settings the two kind of menus will help us to do this. One, you notice right here we have a trace, transparency and reflection. This option, it does provide us transparency, so let's open, and you notice right here we have it similar subray options. You can reduce amount of the subrays, but it's what happened when one light hit one particle, next it's calculating to next particle, next. Right here we can see it says 5 levels, so the trace of the light particles will go up to 5. If you have it too small, you'll notice in some cases you will have it blocks of the black color in your fog. If that happen, you want to increase amount of the trace level, or if you want to reduce, you can go down to maybe 2, 3 and see if that will work. If you want to have a grainy look or other things, that will speed up your render time because it's need calculate much less amount of the subrays is going. However, if you see artifacts start increasing, you want to increase the max trace level from this. Same will apply to the reflection level if you do any water or reflection surfaces. The next one, let's look on advanced effect options. Right here, first tab, it will respond mostly to the ecosystem. What we need to do in second tab was a photon map. Right here you notice we have radiosity map. We can also customize some options here, how much we want to trace the lights going. For our light, same decreasing or increasing, depend if you need it. If you want higher quality, you probably want to increase photon tracing level, as well as how many photons will produce from the camera and going to calculation, so you can do this way, as well as decay rate. Currently it says 0.9 on a 10, so if you have a 20, you probably want set decay rate to maybe 0.5, so it will be going a little bit smoother. You also can customize photon gathering options, similar things, how far it will go from the source and how many of them will produce. The Gaussic photon will be applying to the semi-transparency to creating in some case reflection or other Gaussic maps. You can modify this as well if you're using, mostly you probably want to set this by default. Again, here right here photon map, you can also reduce amount and see if the quality is to the satisfactory to you, so you can reduce even more. Or again, if you don't want just increase higher quality or have it artifacts, and mostly you'll see those black blocks in some transparency, you maybe want to increase this. Okay, this is just short small tips and places where you can look inside the view to optimize on some transparency and volumetric, some maybe Gaussic options to increase render speed, and also where you can manage some quality of the render. Thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.